In this video, we're going to take a look at the oxygen-only analyzer from Bridge Analyzers. We're going to show you specifically how to calibrate in the field using your own certified gas. In this case, we're going to use nitrogen gas, and we're going to calibrate for residual oxygen. So we're going to calibrate essentially to a value of 0 oxygen. So initially what you want to do is have a setup similar to what we have here. I have the analyzer turned on, and I have zeroed the analyzer, and it's running in a continuous mode. That's very critical when you do calibrations. The analyzer must be in the continuous run mode. If you're in the test and hold mode, it will not go into calibrate. You have to press the zero or press the green down arrow to get it into continuous mode, and that is needed if you're in the discrete test and hold mode. When you first turn it on and zero, it will be in a continuous mode, so you can just leave it in that mode if you like. So what we have the sample line plugged into the calibration gas. We're going to flow gas at around 400 cc's a minute. We're going to overflow the excess away from the analyzer, and then the analyzer will only draw the gas that it needs. So right now, we'll go ahead and we'll turn on nitrogen, and you'll see our bubble goes up to 4. So that's 400 cc's a minute, and very rapidly now you're going to see the oxygen go down. So right now we're less than 0.2. We're generally waiting for that to stabilize. And what we'll do in the meantime, we're letting it stabilize, but let's go in the calibration mode. To enter the calibration mode, you press the cal and 0 buttons simultaneously. And I'm going to press it until the word CAL appears on the screen. So I'm going to press and hold cal and then hit 0. And I hold them down until it says cal. So now I know that I'm in the calibration mode. If I press the cal button once, it's going to select the high oxygen mode, and you'll notice that it's blinking. It's blinking because we're not able to calibrate high oxygen because we're less than 2% oxygen. So that right now, it's an option for us to calibrate high oxygen, but only if we're flowing something higher than 2%. If I press it a second time, now it displays the oxygen reading in a steady state. So what that tells me is I can calibrate what we would call the low oxygen mode. So we're in low oxygen cal mode. And just to scroll through again, if I hit the cal button, it'll scroll between those 3 screens. The cal word, the high oxygen calibration mode, which is blinking, meaning it's not available to us, or now the low oxygen mode, and that's what we're going to use to calibrate. So now during the time we've been talking, it looks like it's pretty well stable. My oxygen reading is not going down much more. And so now I can say, well, I'm running 0% oxygen. And if you think about it, we're actually running right now at 0.03. So this is, a very solid reading right out of the box. But if I wanted to, I could hit the down arrow, and that would reduce the bias such that I can lower that value down to something very close to 0. And I'll just go ahead and I can leave it right there. So I'm at 0.006. And you'll see it'll probably tick down just a little bit more. And it'll actually go negative as well, which would tell you you've calibrated probably a little too far. We tend to calibrate at around 0.03 to 0.05, allowing a little bit of extra tail there to allow these readings to keep coming down. Once you calibrate to where you want, now I could actually show you just here if I wanted to go higher, I could do that. if you press and hold that button, it'll go up or down. And I'll go back to that 007, something like that. So that's fine right there. So now I can accept that reading by again pressing the cal and 0 button simultaneously. So now when I do that, I'm back into regular readings. You notice when I hit cal, it doesn't do anything, so I know I'm out of that reading. And now I've finished calibrating. I can turn off my gas. And I can go back into my test and hold mode by hitting test. You'll see it blinks while it's doing a test. Actually, I'll turn my gas back on. So it'll actually do a test and then it'll freeze the screen and it'll stop. There it stopped, so I can turn my gas off. I can disconnect this. And now I'm ready to go back out on the floor and keep testing. The one thing I didn't show you was if you're in the calibration mode, right now, watch. I try to go into calibration mode. I can't get in there. Well, I can't get in because I'm in the test and hold mode. So if I just hit that green arrow, I go back to continuous testing. I'll go ahead and I'll turn the gas back on. Here, I'll go back into the calibration mode. You'll notice I'm there and I hit cal. There's my blinking for high oxygen. I'm saying no, I want to do residual or low oxygen. So now I'm doing it here. If I go ahead and I make some changes, all kinds of changes, and I really mess it up, and I say, oh boy, I don't know what to do, you can abort any changes you made by just pressing the 0 button. So if I press 0, now I'm out of the cal mode. You'll see if I press cal, it doesn't do anything. So I'm back into, I aborted the calibration process by just pressing 0. The other thing that I wanted to tell you was if I want to go back to factory settings, I go back into continuous run mode, which I'm in, go into cal mode, and if I press the up and down arrow simultaneously until the cal word goes away, now I'm back to original factory calibration configuration settings by pressing the up and the down arrow simultaneously. And that's a way, if you think you've really got some mixed up calibrations, you can go back to the factory settings, which is again going into the cal mode, which is cal and 0, and then pressing the up and down arrows simultaneously until it pops out of calibration mode. That resets it to factory calibrations. Our user manual, section 6, describes everything I've talked about here. So if you want to refresh it, refresh your memory on things, you can follow along in that section 6 in the user manual. Thank you. Have a good day.